Well, good morning and welcome to my channel, A Country Life. I'm Jennifer, and today I have for you guys a Q&A video. Now, I hope that this is good enough lighting. I'm actually outside and I'm not doing like the ring light thing or anything like that. So just natural lighting, and I hope it's really good for you guys. I had asked a while back on the community tab for questions because I really wanted to do a Q&A. Somebody's coming out the door right now. Who's coming out the door? Who's coming out the door? Hello? Now I'm really back. Okay, so anyway, I had asked on the community tab for questions to do a Q&A, and I got a whole bunch of questions. I'm going to try to make this quick and answer the questions very to the point. Sometimes when I start answering a question, it like turns into story time. It could be its own video on its own, but I'm going to try to refrain from that today. And there are going to be a couple times when there's, you're going to see like my kids and things in this video because there are some questions for them too. Now, in case you are fairly new around here and you are not aware, in March of 2019, YouTube had a whole bunch of things going on with kids in videos and just bad stuff happening in the comments. Now, I was not ever aware that I was affected by that because I have read every single comment, and anything that ever did seem a little bit weird, I just deleted. Like one time a lady told me that kids in my kitchen stressed her out. I just deleted that comment. I didn't know if that was meant to be one of the bad comments that YouTube was kind of talking about or not. I'm sure they were much worse than that. But anyways, so I did delete that comment, for example. But in the process of all of that going on, YouTube just permanently disabled my comments. Thank you to everybody who sends me links and videos and things like that that show how to enable the comments. I'm very aware of how to do that, but YouTube does not give me that option. So as soon as I start uploading a video, it just says comments disabled, and it does not allow me to click on hold inappropriate comments for further review, or the other option is like display all comments. So it just doesn't give me that option at all. So if you see that comments are always off and you're like, why? And then all of a sudden for 3 videos, it'll be back on. That's why, because all of a sudden YouTube just decides that I think they kind of miss it. Honestly, I think something happens in their double checking or their algorithm or something that just kind of misses it. Because I noticed with I noticed with a few other channels that have comments always turned off, it'll be like right around the same time, they'll have 2 or 3 videos that the comments will be turned on for as well. So anyway, that is what the comment thing is about. So for the community tab, you need to go onto your main screen, whether it's a phone or a laptop, and scroll across the top where it says Home, Videos, Playlists, Community, About. And up there, one of them is Community, and if you click on that, that will take you to what I call the Community tab, where I can make posts and I can give you little updates, and they allow comments there. So let's get on with this. Starting off the bat here, Pauline asks, how do I cope when feeling down? Okay, we all feel down. It happens to all of us, especially boy, there's just emotions all over the place. You have kids, you have a menstrual cycle, you have a husband, you have your own issues. There's always times when, a person has a time to feel down. Now, how do I specifically cope? I'll tell you, in the summer, what I do is I go and weed the garden. I love being in the garden. I also go around and snip all of the little flowers. I like deadhead my plants. That is something that, some people find that to be something that, oh, I have to go out and take care of my flowers. For me, it's just a total like getaway, and that is just really probably how I cope with feeling down. Now, that would be just kind of like maybe feeling stressed, but really feeling down, deep down. It's been a while since I felt that level of feeling down, but I guess I talked to Warren. I have a good support in him, and after 20, has it been 23 years of marriage, coming up to 24, when he's up, sometimes I'm down, and when I'm up, he's down. So we just kind of balance each other out and try to be the support for one another. Of course, I enjoy my daily devotional that gives me like a little scripture to kind of ponder for the day. Sometimes I read it and it just goes right out, and sometimes I read it and it sticks in my brain, and I just kind of think about that and mull that over a little throughout the day, and that oftentimes helps me as well. Carrie says, what is your advice for a new homeschooling mom of a child with special needs? Start slow and set some goals. So what I like to do is set about 3 goals for a month, whether it be educational goals, like more academics, I guess I should call it, a life skills goal, and then maybe just a social goal, and work on those things for the month so that every day it's kind of fresh in your mind. Like this month, I want, like for example, I want Joseph to work on washing his own hands. So there's the life skills goal, right? Washing his own hands, understanding each thumb, rubbing the fingernails, getting between the hands, and getting up the wrist. And I try to keep that really specific in my mind so I know exactly the outcome, and not overwhelming myself with too many goals, but I would just say like 3 goals, okay? So something academic, something social, and something life skills, and go from there. I think that really offers a good, well-rounded education, and it gives you something to focus on and not to get too overwhelmed. That is my best advice, is to just stay flexible and baby steps all the way. Beverly, hi there Beverly, you're fairly new around here and always are leaving so many nice comments. How is Emily and Sparky doing since having their first baby? Okay, we are going to let them answer that.
That's a bug shot.
Turn sideways, sir. Turn to your right, sir. We need a number. Okay, so Beverly asks, how is Emily and Sparky doing since having their first baby?
Oh, Beverly. We're doing pretty good.
Really good.
We're doing good.
Yeah, it's definitely a change, but I say we're handling it pretty well.
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, like sleep, has been a little less than what we were used to, but I think we've been handling that fairly. Actually, I think we've been handling that really well.
Yeah. Honestly, I think he gets up every 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's consistent. So it's like what, he goes to bed about 10, gets up about 1:32, and then up again at 5, depending on the night. Nights that we're out late, or he tends to sleep through the night. Yeah. So.
But I think we're handling it really well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing major has happened. So at this
That
point,
in and of itself is a good thing.
And only
Yeah.
like
a few blowouts.
a few blowouts and like 1 or 2 breakdowns on a long
Yeah.
weekend. A Sunday night and a long weekend.
So you
Not even me, but you know.
So we won't ask who's breaking down.
Yeah, it's honestly been really good.
That's good. You guys seem to be handling it very well, at least.
Oh yeah.
At least
Yeah.
from my
I think
perspective.
so.
Okay, so I guess how has life changed? What would you say is the biggest change?
Things like, I think the biggest thing that has changed is like planning when we go someplace. So like, it used to be like, oh hey, you want to go here, and it'd be like a half an hour to get ready, and now it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. You have to plan ahead of time. By the time he eats, and we change diaper, and we pack what we need, and we get in the car, and everything. So I think it's just learning to like plan. We have to plan things a couple days in advance now instead of the spur of the moment.
It's not like
things.
let's go out to eat, or let's go to the Rafters game, or like last night, for example, we were at home when we didn't have much to do. And we said, oh, we could make it to the Rafters game. Well, then it's already 6 o'clock and it starts at 6:30, and it's just like, well, if we didn't have him, we would totally
we
totally jumped in the vehicle and came to the Rafter game for the night. So so
just
planning.
Has really been.
She also asks, does Amber have a boyfriend? Yes. Julie says, what are our dating rules? So she has 3 questions. The first one is, what are our dating rules? So our dating rules are, they can start dating when they're 18. And the reason that we went with 18, not that they can't have friends, they can have all the friends they want before that, and they can hang out with friends and have them over for fires and go over to their place for fires. But the one-on-one, we're going to a movie, we're going out to eat, that kind of thing, we reserve until they're 18. And that's, I guess, our why would be because it just helps to eliminate some of that early teenage drama. If you see me peeking around, it's because Maria is sneaking around in the rocks out in front of me here. I hear you. I see you. But there's a lot of drama that goes into girl and boy relationships when they're younger, just because they're learning who they are so much and so quickly. I think friendships are fabulous, but dating relationships, in the early years. Julie also asks, do we have adventurous eaters? Now, I would say some of my kids are far more adventurous than others, and obviously as they get older, I think they get more adventurous. And she also wonders if I would ever consider doing a subscriber recommended meals. Yeah, like Mandy in the Making, she does the subby supper. Yeah, I would consider something like that. It's something that I've kind of thought about here and there. I don't have a really fantastic name for it. Subby supper is just such a cute name. And I don't think I'm real creative when it comes to like catchy slogans and stuff. But anyway, it is something that I would consider. Kathy says, does Amber work in healthcare? Yes. Michelle says, how is my mom doing? Ooh, that's kind of a hard question because she lives in a facility. They are on 100% lockdown. And quite honestly, guys, it's kind of like a prison right now and has been since February. How is she doing? She's alive. I talk to her regularly. We send things back and forth, but she's lonely and sad. Like I think so many people that are living in any kind of confined home situation is feeling right now. Luann says, have I felt a pinch in the grocery budget due to COVID-19 pandemic? I have noticed that groceries have been up a little bit. And although we don't tend to eat out a lot, and our out to eat budget was always its own budget separate from the grocery budget, but I did notice, especially in those like 3 months there, that when we didn't go out ever, not one single time, that I was obviously cooking many more meals at home. And I guess a pinch would be a good way to say it, that yes, I have been feeling a little bit of a pinch. Kendall says, best advice for a new mom. She wants to know that from my opinion and Emily's opinion. So from my opinion, the best advice for a new mom, since I've done this 7 times and I have a whole lot of like wisdom under my belt, so to say, I would say my best advice is to limit the stuff you bring into your home. It's so easy with the first one to want so many different things and try all the expensive baby products that are out there. But I really, really think, especially if you are trying to stay on a budget or stay home with that child and have only one income, it's so important to just limit the stuff you bring in. Everything you bring into your home takes up space and owns you. All of the clothes you have for your kids own you. You have to fold them. You have to keep them organized. You have to wash them. You have to choose what they're going to wear. And so I think just limiting it really is easy on the mind. What is your best advice for a new mom? Let's hold on because we're at a ball game right now.
Clapping in the background.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about this, and I think the best advice would be to buy a really nice front carrier that can also like transition into like a back carrier for when he gets older, because I have found that he might be fed and tired, but he does not want to get put down. So instead of just sitting on the couch all day holding him to sleep, if you put him in the carrier, he passes right out. And I just find it super nice, like when we're out and about, because then you're not lugging around a car seat. I would say that would be the best advice.
And can I just say that I wish that that was my answer, because I second that 100%.
Like I'm surprised at how much I've used it already, and he's like 6.5, 7 weeks old now.
Yeah.
Like I probably put him in it like 2 to 3 times a day, and a lot of times I'll make supper and I'll, have supper and he'll be in it. And I use it absolutely all the time. And then the 2 other things I would say is changing tables are a waste of money. So purchase a really nice dresser, very like high quality dresser that you can put the changing pad on top of and use the drawers. and something that he can, or your baby can use it, you know, as they grow up. And then I guess the last little thing, I'm sure you know, a lot of people say this, is don't worry about like the messy house and the clutterness and dishes and laundry and all that. Like, it might drive you nuts, but yeah, just let that go, because sometimes, you know, at the end of the day, if everyone's fed and diapers are changed and, you know, everyone's still in a decent spirit, that's really the goal when it comes to the end of the day.
Christy says, what are you using for homeschool this year? So I do have my plan all written up, and I do want to do that in a separate video. I say that all the time, and then I forget to actually do a curriculum picks video for you guys. But I can tell you that we will be using Time for Learning, which is an online tool. We'll be using that again this year. We will be using Teaching Textbooks. I will be using Handwriting Without Tears. I will be using All About Reading. Do I have anybody who's going to do All About Spelling this year? I may have Peter do All About Spelling this year. I will be using the What Your First Grader Needs to Know, What Your Second Grader Needs to Know. I really like those books for their stories that are in there, especially like all their fairy tales, fables, and poetry and things like that. I like having those books as a reference to use. We'll be using Nancy Larson's Science, and then lots of puzzles, games, things like that as well. Christy also says, do you do anything to prepare the cranberries and your home for the long, cold Wisconsin winters? Yes. So the cranberries are prepared for the long winters by flooding and encasing them in ice, which sounds very contrary to a lot of people, but ice is a fantastic insulator, and so usually around about, okay, so I was talking about preparing the cranberries for the long, cold Wisconsin winters, and so definitely the flooding and getting everything encased in ice. Oh, I know what I was telling you. So it seems to be usually around Christmas when we start to get the really, really cold temperatures. Warren starts to bring the water up on the beds, which we call flooding, and then we just start freezing. And so what he does is he lets the water be on, I think, if I have it right, upwards of 10 days is the max, and then you pull the water off. So whatever ice you made in that amount of time, that's what you have. You pull the water off, it pulls from below the ice, then that ice settles down onto the vines, and then the next time you flood, the next time you're going to get a really cold snap, then he floods again, and he kind of just keeps layering the ice. And if he's going to be sanding in the winter, which I do have a video, I can link to that in the description box below, if he is going to be sanding that winter, he likes to have 12 inches of ice on that cranberry bed. If it's not a sanding year for that particular cranberry bed, then I think he likes to have around 6 or 8 inches, if I'm not mistaken. And then for our house, what do we do to prepare? Well, one thing that we do is we cut a whole lot of firewood. This last year, I really had nothing to do with it. I don't even think I helped split this last year, not one single piece. But him and Sam, and who else might have helped? I don't know if anybody helped this last year other than the two of them, but they cut all of the firewood that we're going to need to heat our home for the winter. And then Christy also says, what are my all-time favorite meals? Oh my goodness. I pretty much like my favorite meals would be Mexican style dishes. I love tacos, shrimp tacos, fish tacos, shredded beef tacos, just all the tacos. I like quesadillas. I like that kind of, lots of like chili powder, cumin, oregano. I like those flavors a lot. And I also love just like baked chicken, baked potato, and creamed corn. Good, basic, standard home cooking. Those would be my favorite types of meals. Okay, so please explain the growing process, how the marshes work, and how many acres you have.
So you want like a 30-second answer for...
A 30-second answer.
Well, we have 51.5 acres. Soon to be 56.5 because we're going to plant 5 acres next spring. Just got the bed built. How the process works?
Oh my gosh.
That's hard to wrap up in a short answer, but basically cranberries are a perennial crop. We plant via cuttings, or you can use plugs, but we use cuttings. Usually we mow the vines off existing beds and plant them in either renovated or new beds. Takes about 3 years before you get a viable crop, and in that time they're shooting out runners and filling in and establishing themselves. Cranberries use very little fertilizer when you compare them to corn or soybeans. Like the nitrogen aspect, you're only at about 40. Now some of the hybrids a little more, but only about 40 pounds annually of nitrogen compared to corn that can be 100, 200, 300 pounds of nitrogen in a growing season. So they use very little fertilizer. There's a lot of things that go into growing a crop. It's very easy to grow cranberry vines, very hard to grow a good crop. It takes a lot of effort and attention to detail. That's always my mantra, attention to detail. You have to keep track of your moisture levels in the soil. You have to keep track of your fertilization, nutrition. We do soil and tissue tests to keep track of that. You have to keep tabs on your bug pressure. There's all kinds of worms that like to attack cranberries, whether it's eating the fruit, eating the roots, eating the leaves. We got beetles that go after them. There's a lot to it. On the surface, it looks like you just wait for the crop to grow. No, you are on that marsh every day, evaluating growth, looking for pests, maintaining your dikes and ditches and reservoir system, and it's quite involved. You have to be dedicated. It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 7-day-a-week, 365 type of job. But it kind of becomes a part of you. You have to bond with the farm. That's a good way to put it. You're bonded with the farm, so everything about you, you're always thinking about the marsh, which sometimes can be a bad thing because you can never get away from it. It's like another child that's always in your ear yapping. That's what the marsh is like. Not every day. I mean, there's good days, but
That's perfect. Okay, awesome. That's a great.
30 seconds. Well, that was more than 30
That was more than
seconds.
30 seconds, but that's
But
okay. Everybody's
it
going to
is.
love that.
All right.
I have a couple other questions for you too. So, how long is the cranberry season?
Well, the actual growing season usually starts in April, end of April. They start growing, buds start swelling, we start frost protecting, and then they grow continuously. Bloom is end of June, first part of July. Fruit set is first part of July. The berries start sizing. They size through August and into September. Now my early hybrids, they're already at harvest time by about the 12th to 15th of September already. They're ripe and ready to be picked. And then most of the other varieties, we're looking at an October harvest. So usually by about the 25th of October, you're wrapping up the crop. And then that doesn't mean your job ends, it just means that it changes. Because then after harvest, you're preparing the beds for winter, raking up leaf trash that collected during the harvest process, winterizing your irrigation system, working on equipment, doing all the prep so that you can go successfully into winter. Be ready for your winter flooding. There's just a lot. And then in the winter time, it slows down in the sense that you're not actively growing a crop, but there's still plenty of work that has to be done every day. I mean, we burn wood here and heat our shop and hot water with wood, so you're cutting firewood, you're maintaining equipment, we do a lot of our own fabrication, so you're building equipment that you need for the growing season. You're doing repairs on the house that got pushed off until winter. Let's see what else. You have your sanding, which sanding is a whole process where we screen sand into dump trucks that have tailgate spreaders. We drive the dump truck out onto the ice, the flooded frozen cranberry bed. We meter out a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of sand onto the cranberry bed, and that falls through the ice in the spring. And what that does is a lot of your fruit worm like to overwinter in the egg stage in the leaf trash layer at the bottom of the vines at ground level. That sand buries that leaf trash, helps to smother out some of the worm eggs, It provides a fresh rooting surface for your runners, and it provides drainage. Cranberries need drainage. They like it wet, but they don't want to be drowned out. So I do about a third of the marsh every winter, weather permitting. Now this last winter I didn't get any sanding done because I was hauling in a sand lift on a renovation project, and it just means that I got more to do this year. The work never goes away. I mean, in the winter is when we take time to get away and do something for a few days, little mini vacation here and there. But during the growing season, you're not going anywhere. You are tied down to that marsh. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I definitely feel that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's a great place to raise a family too. That is a huge benefit right there. So, what was the question again?
That was good. You answered all of the questions that she asked.
Okay.
All with that, all in one fell swoop. The only other question Donna asks is, does your husband work outside the home? Off the marsh? No, not at this point. There's been points in our life that you have done side
I've done
jobs.
Other things for income. The cranberry industry is very turbulent as far as markets, and I've had a lot of years where I've cut logs in the winter just to make ends meet. A lot of logging on our property here, or cut my own trees and market my own logs, and it's got us through some hard times. I've done some odd jobs for people, carpentry here and there, but that's pretty low level. I got plenty of carpentry to do here. So, and Jennifer,
You've put roofs on sheds. You've taken care of mink.
Oh yeah.
You've cut firewood to sell.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but
Built pole sheds. Did remodeling projects for people.
But currently all in.
This house is my remodeling project, but besides that, I'm all in on the farm.
I'm going to turn it back to me now, and we're going to move on with the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Make me look awesome.
I will make you look awesome.
You always do.
You make yourself look awesome. I have my little twin with me today. We did our hair just the same today. So this question from Jennifer, same as me, same name. Favorite quality of each family member. What's your favorite thing about Dad? My favorite thing is that he is, number one, a family guy. Number one. You don't know. What's your favorite thing about me? You don't know. Okay. How about Emily? Do you have a favorite thing about Emily? Well, you're not much help here today. So Emily is a when the chips are down kind of girl. She just is able to come in and get it done and not get distracted. And I have always really liked that about her. Like, for example, the other day she was over and somebody took out the garbage. Probably Warren had like taken out the bag and just left the garbage can out while he was running to the dumpster to put the garbage in the dumpster. And as soon as she saw that, she just like opened up the cabinet, grabbed another garbage bag and put it in. I know that's a little tiny thing, but I'm not sure if everyone in my family would do that. I think most people would walk by the empty garbage can, maybe even throwing some trash in it. I'm not bad-mouthing them. I'm just telling you the way it is. So I do love that about Emily. Okay, Nick, what's your favorite thing about Nick?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So Nick is very, very smart, and he is very, very serious. I mean, he has a very fun-loving side to him too, but he's very serious. He's very smart. He definitely can like think through a situation and think kind of to the end and then do the steps that need to get you to the end of that project. So I've always appreciated that about him. How about Amber? What's your favorite thing about Amber? You know I'm going to ask you each one, so you have to think. Something that you love about Amber. For Amber, I would have to say that my favorite characteristic for her is that she just has a way of keeping things kind of, she keeps me on my toes for sure with the things that she says and does and all of that. She is maybe a smidge more of a free spirit and just enjoys having fun and living life. And what's your favorite characteristic? Did you come up with something?
No.
Favorite thing about Amber? You can't come up with anything? She's going to watch this video.
Joe and Peter.
She's going to watch this video and she's going to want to hear something. There is a chipmunk over there. Yeah. Okay, I see the chipmunk. Yes. So then we move on to Sam. And favorite thing about Sam, my favorite characteristic is that he is a really good performer. He really likes to, whether it was when he was BMX racing or guitar or whatever it is, he loves to perform. He loves to put himself out there and, kind of be in the spotlight. And he's pretty okay with it, I'd have to say. I think that's a really great thing. You have a favorite of Sam? Okay.
Guitar.
You love that he plays guitar? What's your favorite song he plays?
Supermarket Flowers.
Uh-huh. Of course, Supermarket Flowers.
Plays it. He said he doesn't like it, but he keeps it because I like it.
Oh, isn't that a good brother? Now we move on to Joseph. And, I mean, what is there not to love, obviously, right?
I have a favorite.
Okay, what's your favorite about Joe?
He plays baby dolls with me.
He does like to play with you, is right. I would say that my favorite thing about Joe is that...
He just ran right onto the rock.
Joe just keeps me laughing all the time with all of his funny little shenanigans, and he loves to watch the Tim Hawkins comedy and then to repeat and sing all of it back. And yeah, he
might be a comedian.
Oh my gosh, this chipmunk is going to run right up here by us, Maria.
It's not scary.
I do not want it to run up here by my feet. I'm barefooted.
I do. It's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cute though.
Okay, this little chipmunk is literally like 3 feet away from us. Ah!
It's so cute.
Okay.
I do have flip-flops on though.
So, moving on to Peter. My favorite thing about Peter. What's your favorite thing about Peter? Your favorite characteristic?
If he wasn't there, I'd be bored all day.
Oh, so he's a good playmate? Good, makes a good companion. Yeah, Peter makes a very, very good companion. He loves to cuddle and he loves to hug. Oh my gosh.
He always says, "Can I have a hug?"
Yep, Peter's always asking for a hug all the time. He loves to be helpful. He loves to be like next to me in the kitchen and working with me, and he loves to come down to the garden with me and that. So he's just kind of like, he's a great companion, and he is great at helping out and wanting to be a part of it. And then we move on to Maria. What's our favorite thing about Maria?
Myself, so I don't know.
You're not sure what your favorite thing about you is? Well, my favorite thing about Maria is that she is just always, always smiling. That's my favorite thing. She's just a happy little girl. She falls and she gets right back up and smile is on her face. Like just as soon as she brushes the sand off her knees, she's smiling again. So that is definitely my favorite characteristic. Whoops, I just pulled your hair. And the fact that we have the exact color hair, I do like that too. Look at that. And straight hair too. Kelly asks, where is my meal planning planner from? Where did I get that? It was actually something that was sent to me by a company called Life and Apples, and I had tucked it away and just didn't use it for many months because I was always doing my monthly calendar. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I was just getting like everything I did was happening on the computer. I edit on the computer. I do emails on the computer. I was shopping on the computer. I was everything. Typing recipes into the computer. I was doing like kids' curriculum and typing up that on the computer. And I was also doing my meal plan on the computer. And I just got sick of feeling like my face was in the computer all the time. So I pulled that out and I've been using that for probably 2 months now, I would say, and I really like it. I'll just link to it in the description box. I know they have an actual website, and then I think when you want to buy it, it takes you right over to Amazon. So I'll put both those links down there. On their website, they have a whole lot of free resources and free printables as well. So I'll just link it both down there. A coupon gal says, do I prefer online or in-store shopping? I really, really love online shopping for things, well, obviously for things that I can't get around here, which, you know, I am in technically rural America, so I don't have a whole lot of options. And then during this pandemic, everything's been closed. Like all the little local stores were all closed. So my only option within, you know, 30 minutes of my house was Walmart. You can get a lot of stuff at Walmart, but sometimes you want some other option. So I do love online shopping. However, for clothing, I still do prefer to be able to go into a store, touch the fabric, and try it on. So that was even kind of hard when things started to open up, because you still couldn't try anything on. Some stores, you still can't try things on. I was at TJ Maxx the other day. That's where I actually got this top here, $9.99 at TJ Maxx. I love it so much. I love polka dots like this. These like little, sometimes it's called Swiss dot or something. Yeah.
These dots were on our old shower curtain.
This is like our old shower curtain too, right? Same kind of thing. But you couldn't try anything on, so I just bought 3 things at TJ Maxx, came home, 2 of them worked, 1 doesn't. So tomorrow when we go biking, we're gonna have to take that one back. What I even like more probably than online shopping is pickup. I absolutely love the pickup. I ordered a shower bar and what else? And shower hooks and my shower liner from Home Depot today, and within like 20 minutes later they text me saying that my order is ready to be picked up. So I can just go in anytime today, pick it up. I love that so much. So Anne says, how did Warren and I get into the cranberry business? Was it handed down to him, or did he just suddenly plant cranberries one day? Oh, I wish he was over here to hear that question. He's actually working on, I don't know, he's in the shop bent over kind of by the UTV. I don't know, he's working on something, but anyway, so no, we did not just suddenly plant cranberries one day. Actually, this cranberry marsh here, this business was started by his grandfather in 1947, and then when his grandfather was ready to be out of the business, then it went through the next generation, and then we are the 3rd generation here. So his dad, when Warren's dad was ready to retire, he sold to us, and so that's how we got into cranberries. Warren grew up in this house. We have remodeled and added on and stuff like that, but this is the house that he was brought home to from the hospital when he was a newborn. And then he went off to college, and Warren got a degree in groundwater management and geology, and thought that he was going to do something in that field. And he just found out that a lot of the jobs in like his market would be a lot of like desk jobs in doing kind of like the planning and stuff like that, and he really wanted to be more outdoor, moving around, that kind of a thing. And at that point it just kind of worked out that his dad was ready to start stepping back from the business. So then Warren worked with his dad for I think 5 years. He worked full-time with his dad before his dad retired, and then we bought his part of the business.